y'all, it's Laura and I'm back with day 18. So let's open up our little bag and see what we have to play with today. Okay, ooh. Glitter! So excited about that. We have the prompt. We have a magic ticket sticker, so that should be fun. Let's start playing. Okay, so for day 18, I wanted to make a shaker page because I have this really cool cut out piece from the Felicity Jane side of my December Daily kit that I've been waiting impatiently to use. It is a really cool option that I'm really glad they put in. I actually made one for last year's December Daily that is very similar to this, actually. I just used a circle punch and cut out a bunch of circles, but of course my inside of the 6x8 wasn't quite as straight as theirs. But I did do that same thing. So it's kind of cool that they had these pre-made in there. There's also a star one, and they had some flip out pages, and they have two that have pockets. So I was really excited to have those included in my kit because I do love the interactive side of a mini album. I really enjoy that. And I really wanted to use these gorgeous blue sequins that were in that advent calendar. I was super excited because they matched really well to these photos of my daughter. She is in a Christmas parade with her scout troop, and this is the second year that she's done it, and she really enjoys it. Now, the photos are not the best quality. My husband took them. They're at night. My husband took them. He's not as picky as I am about the quality of the photos that he takes. And so when he's in charge of photo taking at an event, I generally take what I can get. You know, if I can't be there myself to take the photos, then I just try to work with what he's given me. So they are printed very small so that the quality is a little bit better. Now I'm just putting some tape around the front of the photo so that I can attach them from behind. So that is what I'm doing there, making it fit inside of that circle. I am going to add 3 areas of sequins to the shaker aspect of this piece. And I want to use not only the little blue sequins that came in my advent calendar kit, but also some glitter and some other sequins that are in my kit. I really am trying to use up as much of this kit as I can because I don't do a lot of 12 by 12 scrapbooking of Christmas. I've done 12 by 12 scrapbooking of Christmas through 2015, and I've just started working on 2016, and I have a December daily for that year. So I really don't need to scrap anything going forward, actually, for Christmas in a full-size page. I could, but I don't really need to. So I want to use these up as much as possible and not just stuff a bunch of things into my stash when the project is over. I am using a page protector, that's right, a page protector and not acetate on this shaker page. And the reason for that is A, page protectors are cheaper. B, they're easier to get a hold of. Acetate is not something that my local craft shop carries, or if it is, I just don't know where it is. That's also possible. Let's be real, some of these craft stores are kind of big and hard to find things. So I'm just going to tape those down behind the circles, and then I will build up my little wall to house my sequins on top of it. Now, this was pretty easy to do. It's a really quick way to add something fun to your mini album. You could do this on a layout as well. Let me give you an example. One of the ways that I've seen this used is you could use a scrap piece of paper that, let's say, you have punched a shape out of. You could use it as a layer behind your photos and fill it with sequins. So it looks intentional instead of just being a scrap leftover piece of junk. It's then made repurposed. And so that is an option you could use this for on a layout. I have done shaker cards. I have a tutorial for that in my videos as well. If I'll remember, I'll link that for you below if you want to check that out. I have several ways that I make shaker cards and I really enjoy them. And I'm on a sequin kick at the moment. It's good. I did apply for the Spiegel Mom Scraps design team for that reason, because I'm really on a sequin kick at the moment. And so I was really excited I actually got on the team, because that's an awesome team and I get to play with sequins. And that's awesome. So back to the layout, I'm just doing thin strips of this craft foam and then wrapping it around the circle shape. Now you won't be able to see this yellow craft foam because I have left a little lip of that cardstock sticking out past the circle of my foam so that it's not visible from the front. I think if you turn the page maybe sideways, you might see some of it, but I mean, you really have to try hard. So adding the sequins, in this particular one, I decided to use some of the blue sequins, and then too late realized, oh wait, I wanted to put some of these pretty white snowflakes in here from the Felicity Jane kit. So I went ahead and grabbed a couple of those out. I'm going to use some pop dots to attach them to the plastic on the other side so that they don't shake around as much. And the reason that I did that was because they would get lost. I've already added a lot of the blue sequins, and those blue sequins are not going back in because they're not really sequins, it's really glitter. And yeah, no, the glitter is not going back in the container. As you can see, I've made quite a mess with the glitter already. So I'm not even going to try to get those back in. And so I'm just going to use some glue dots and pop those into place so that you will be able to see them from the front. And they don't show up terribly well, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's okay. The attempt was made, right? So we're going to add some more blue sequins just because, you know, I'm glutton for punishment. And no, I did want this to be a very blue background sequin pocket so that the white snowflakes would show up. It just didn't work out so well. There's just a lot of blue glitter in there. So just adding some glue to the little barrier that I've created to house my glitter and sequins, and then backing it with a piece of cardstock. And that is going to keep everything inside. That does seal it up nice and tight, and you don't have to worry about it leaking out. I have never had an issue with that, so hopefully I never will. So I have saved you from watching that process happening 2 more times. It is the same process, just adding the page protector, the foam, the sequins, and then the backing piece. But this side, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to add a little bit of journaling here just to kind of mention what's going on. And I thought, hey, we'll just have the journaling kind of be a peekaboo behind the sequins and the glitter. Well, turns out that the sequins and the glitter did not like these puffy stickers I ended up using, and they kind of got stuck on it, so it's not super easy to read. So perhaps going with non-puffy stickers would have been a better choice, or just writing my journaling would probably have been the best choice, but that's okay. It's all fine. My kids know what it is. We know what's going on in the pictures. At least that's what I'm telling myself. It's completely fine, Laura. Don't worry about it. Now, these little puffy stickers are kind of nice. They're like the little tile stickers that you get from a number of collections. Chamel does a lot of them. These are from Felicity Jane, and they are puffy, and they feel amazing. So I do really, really enjoy playing with those. And I'm just putting the name of her scout troop and where the parade was. And that is it for the journaling on this page, which is pretty minor, and it's not printed on a journaling card. This is one of the few times that I've used my handwriting in this mini album. I normally use my handwriting quite a lot, but I was really pushing myself to try some typewritten journaling and seeing if I liked it. And I do like being able to get longer stories into my journaling via the typewritten. So I think it's going to depend on that, on how long my journaling is, as to whether I just draw some lines and write it, or if I take the time to type it out in the Project Life app like I have been doing. So of course I'm finicking around with these little tile stickers because I want to make sure they fit in the circle. And so I had tried it once and it didn't quite fit in the circle, so I had to kind of modify. So now that I've got everything into place, I'm going to press that down and ta-da! There's my journaling. Now, it is at this point that I realized, I may have put a little bit too much glitter in that hole. because it's kind of hard to read the journaling, but that's okay. It's okay. And I've done another one up here at the top. Same thing, same process. So I didn't want to make you watch it again. I am going to grab this little snowflake. And at first I thought I'd put it here to kind of be as a backer to my number. And then after looking at the front, I realized that that center shaker was very plain. The top left shaker has some of the gold snowflakes in it. The one with the white snowflakes just wasn't showing up very well. And the more I tried to shake it, you couldn't see it. So I decided to go ahead and use this punch of a snowflake. And I'm just going to add that onto the front. So a little bit of decoration, if you will. I don't end up adding a lot of embellishment to this page. I felt like, you know what? This has a lot going on with all of these sequins. I probably don't need to add a ton of embellishment. I just added that punch snowflake and this one acrylic gold snowflake in the center, and that's all the embellishing I did to the whole thing. I am going to come in with a little piece of paper behind this last circle, and that's going to hold my number 18 for the day. And so I guess that kind of counts as embellishment too. But I love this page. I love how simple it is. Now you are seeing how not so pretty the back of this page is, and I had a couple of options with covering that. I could have attached it to another one of these cardstock pages that has like the flip out on the other side and then had just the plain back to back. Or I could have put a piece of cardstock on top of this and built another page on it. What I do end up doing is adding on some pattern paper to cover up the messiness. And then I did use some foam to create a bit of a border around all of those circles so that when my pattern paper was stuck to it, if the sequins happen to escape the shaker, there's a second layer of barrier before escaping the page itself. And also the paper would lay flat. So, you know, double bonus. Let's see what's on for day 19. All right, time for day 19. Let's open up the bag and see what we've got. These are all stapled now, so they're a little bit trickier to get into. Ooh, we have a cut file. Is that it? Yeah, good. All right, we've got a cut file. We've got a silver doily. And the prompt, a wooden tree, a little library card, and a cut file that says love. So that should be fun. Let me get started. So for day 19, I had a whole mess of pictures. But this is the decorating of the tree and the house for Christmas, so I do expect that I'm going to have a lot of photos for that particular day, and decided to do something a little bit different. Created my own portfolio here, and what I've done is cut this beautiful Alexandra Ranky paper into half. So it's 6 by 12 pieces each, has a lovely blue snowflake pattern on it, and that came in my Secret Not Secret Kit Club side of my kit for December Daily. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little portfolio out of it. This first paper I am going to score at 4 inches and at 8 inches, and that's going to create a right and left side flip in to make a tiny booklet. So I'm going to show you here how I make that just super quick and easy. If you don't have a scoreboard, you don't need one. Okay, it's not necessary. You can use, if you have a trimmer, often the trimmers have a bit of a channel that you can use and just measure it out. The other option is to just measure, mark, and fold. And so you really don't have to have a scoreboard, it's just faster. Now on this one, I folded it at 6 inches exactly, so it is square. And that's going to be a cover for my little portfolio. And then I also scored it at just one little line over, which I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but I think is about 1/8 of an inch. And so that creates a bit of a binding, a little channel right there that allows for the extra space that that second piece needs to be open so that your top flap isn't just propped open at a weird angle trying to hold all of the photos. I hope that made sense. So the first thing I'm going to do is tape in this back piece, and that's essentially going to be my anchor for the portfolio. And it's going to hold the other piece in place and also cover it so that you can't see it. It's an interactive element that you have to open up the top and then open out the sides to see all of the photos. I just thought that would be really fun. I do this very frequently on mini albums that I make for family and friends and for myself, and I would love to know if you would like to see more videos like this that include these interactive elements, because I'm thinking that I may be doing some more 6x8 albums in this year. So I am got this little portfolio all ready to go, and I just need to tape it in place and then decorate it. And I'm going to keep this very simple because I have so many photos I'm going to put into this portfolio, and I may have a very bloated looking December daily album at this point. I am forcing myself to keep it fairly simple in embellishment because otherwise it is going to be popped open a little weird and take up a lot of space in my album. Plus it would be heavy. And remember, this is just being held on by tape to paper, so I don't want to make it too heavy. I am going to add on some trim. Have a ton of trim in this kit and I'm loving it. So I'm going to slide a little bit of it underneath of this second page, and then I'll put another row of red trim on the top lip of the flip up. That way it's red meets red, and it just has a really cool layered effect when you do it that way. Now I've purposefully made the back of this portfolio a little bit shorter than the flip open section. That way the top is the long part, and when you fold it down it will fully cover the little flip out pieces. So I've tucked this one little piece of trim in there, and that makes up the difference for what fits underneath of the flip out piece. And then again, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and add this piece of red, which is slightly different, to the front of the album, and that way it creates that layered look. It kind of lets you know that there are two parts to this and that you should lift it up to see it. I am using a double layer of adhesive on these felt pieces because they are felt. I mean, they don't stick beautifully well with just tape, so I am using glossy accents as well. So the tape will hold it in place while the glossy accents dries, and glossy accents, if you're in for an under, if you're not familiar with glossy accents, it dries like cement. It is a fantastic adhesive and one that I definitely use a lot in mini albums for sure. So now I'm looking at my photos and I want to put the tree as the main photo. It is something I was really excited the kids did. They decorated the tree by themselves this year. They decorated the whole house by themselves this year, and I was so proud of them and so appreciative that they did that, because I was not feeling Christmas this year. I really struggled with the holiday spirit, and part of that is because my dad passed away December 1st in 2015, and it's still hard for me to get past that day. And I hope you understand with that. I'm just saying it's a really difficult time of year for me to find that joy, and December Daily is one way that I am encouraging myself to find that joy. But this year was hard. I was okay the first couple of weeks, and then it really hit me hard the end of the month. And we just kind of put off decorating, in part because of that, but also because my twins are not a fan of change. And being 5 years old and not a fan of change, it can be hard for them. And so I also didn't want to cause stress for them. And so this was about a week before Christmas. We decided to go ahead and put up the tree, go ahead and get the decorations out, and prepare the house for Christmas. It was interesting with the twins. One of them, Sophia, was not a fan of all of the changes. And we'll have another story about that later in this album. Just wait, it's ridiculously funny. But she did her own little protest against the decoration of the house. I did end up using this cut file Love from the Advent calendar. I really wanted to use those heart cut files and back them, but I just couldn't quite make it work. I also kept this very simple because I knew this was going to be a longer video for you guys, and I wanted to keep it under a certain time frame. It still ended up being longer than I expected, but that's okay. Did add a little tiny wood veneer tree, so the title is Tree Love, because I absolutely adore the job they did decorating the tree. I'm going to keep it very, very simple. The only decoration we're going to be adding to this is a little bit of trim, a little bit of paper, and some word stickers. So that's all I'm going to do really quickly here is I'm going to add in my photos where I want them to be and yeah, get them in place. You know, map them with a piece of paper, add a phrase sticker, call it a day. This is a very simple project that you can add to your December daily. As I've showed you, it's not super hard to do, but it's such a fun, interactive element. It doesn't take a great deal of planning. You don't have to print your photos in any kind of special sizes or do some sort of fancy alterations. It's really just a matter of paper folding. That's all there is to it. And that's why I enjoy it. I really think that it's a fun way to bring in more interactive elements in my album. So I am going to use that double layer of adhesive here with this trim because it is a little heavier. It's more like tinsel than it is just a trim, but it has a bit of wire in it. So I know it needs the extra support of the glossy accents underneath of that. And I think that was it for this particular page. I was just going to do a little bit of this trim happening here and then I'll move on to the next photo. I am curious, when you make your December daily albums, if you do one, do you include interactive pockets and flip outs and folders, even if it's just the little flip flap things that you can get from Simple Stories or things like that? Let me know. Do you leave tags with hidden journaling in? I'm really curious how many of you do interactive elements in your December daily. I didn't do very many last year, and I think it was because I wasn't sure. It was my first year doing the project and I wasn't really sure what to expect and was kind of following along with how everyone else was doing theirs. A lot of pocket pages, and I'll be honest, I don't love pocket pages in my December daily. I get bored with them very quickly. I don't find them terribly inspiring in my own album. And I do like the way they look on other people's pages in their albums, but on mine, I just don't love them. I think some of it's texture. Honestly, I love the feeling of paper. Paper makes me so happy. And plastic, not as much. I don't know if there's a reason for that or if I'm just a little bit silly. But it's true. I really love working with paper. It is my absolute favorite medium ever. Without a doubt, no question. Love working with paper. I am going to add some vellum behind this photo. Now this side pocket, this side page, and the opposite side page that flip out will be exactly the same with this beautiful lined vellum and then a little bit of a border strip at the top and the bottom. And this is literally border strip from one of the Felicity Jane papers. And it is a gorgeous, nice light green. This is probably my favorite color of green, is this nice light green that's very pale. It's very subtle. It's not, hey, I am neon green over here. Which there are some colors of green that I just can't deal with. And this one is very subtle. It's very beautiful, and I'm very happy to use it. Now, this little page is kind of glorifying our little elf on the shelf, which we do not use in the traditional sense. He does not move. He just stays there and happens to be riding on a silver-coated reindeer. It's just a wire reindeer that has been painted silver, and we got it in some sort of a gift exchange, and I love it. I think it's super cute, and the kids thought it was hilarious that he was riding the reindeer the first time we put him out, and so that's where he stayed. We don't really push Santa Claus in a big way with my kids. We used to, when mine were very, very little, we used to, oh, you better watch out, Santa's watching. And after a year or two of that, it really kind of bugged me that I was teaching my children that someone was watching them and that that was okay. I mean, other than their parents, but that there was some stranger they'd never met before watching them and judging them. it made me really uncomfortable. So we stopped doing Santa in a big way. They still get stocking stuffers, they still get gifts from Santa, but we don't push the Santa is watching you aspect of Christmas. And so this little elf on the shelf is really just a little decoration. He's just a kind of creepily cute decoration that sits on the mantle and rides a reindeer. So I'm going to go ahead and do this opposite side, which has a picture of our mantle, which has all of our stockings. We do have 7 people in our house, so we have a lot of stockings hanging from the mantle. And I have to say, it was the stockings that Sophia most objected to. Normally on our mantle, we have pictures of my dad as the central picture in the largest photo. And then we have pictures of my husband and I's grandparents who have passed away. And I love having those mementos, those photos up there, so my kids can go, who's that? And we can talk about them. We can remember those people. And some of them they've never met, have only met a couple of times before they passed away. But that's okay. I still feel like you do retain memories of photographs that you see often. So even though they don't remember the people, they'll remember the photographs. And I think that's important. I think it's important to remember our relatives and to teach our kids that even though those people aren't here, they were still an important part of our life. So now that I've got the 2 flaps done, I'm going to bring in this Good Tidings of Great Joy that I printed from the Project Life app. It is just one of their digital cards, and I just printed it out with my photo on the other side, and I'm going to do very minimal decorating on this one. It's just I don't know if it's the title. It might be the title. I'm just going to use a little bit of this lace paper that came in one of my it came with the Felicity Jane kit, that's right. And I'm going to use that as a backing to mat this card. Now that I think about it, it might be tissue paper of some kind, but it's a very thick tissue paper, but it's beautiful lace design. And so I decided to use a piece of it below and above this card, just kind of as acting kind of like a doily, but it's square. We need square doilies. I have a square doily. I just realized I have a square doily that I got in an earlier advent calendar gift that I could have used there, and I didn't even think about it. Oh boy. And now we're going to use this last photo, which is of my daughter decorating the tree. She was putting the angel up on top of the tree. We have 2 tree toppers, and I let the kids choose each year which one they want to use, and sometimes they switch and sometimes they don't. This year they chose the angel, which is a gold tone, and then the star is a silver tone. And so I'm not sure why she chose the angel this year. Maybe she just likes it. But I thought that was something really sweet to include, was her putting the final touch to the tree at the top. Put a little bit of washi tape up here that just has joy, peace, and love on it. I thought that was a good little inclusion. I need to use my washi tape more. Am I the only one who really needs to use their washi tape more often? Because it occurred to me about halfway through, oh, I should have used more washi tape on this so it would be less bulky. How about that? I am going to remember to bring in my number this time, and going to grab these large gold ones that came with the Felicity Jane kit, and I am mixing it up this year. Some of the days are different types of numbers, and I really liked it. I didn't think I would like it, but I do. Now, this 19 doesn't show up very well on the video, but in person it is very gold, it is very bright, and it stands out quite a lot against the tree. But I am so happy with how this came out. I really like this front cover in particular. Has all of the journaling, has a showcase of the tree, and it makes me smile. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, bye!